Mom and Dad, I'm doing fine. You guys are on my mind. You asked me what I wanted to be, and now I think the answer is plain to see. I wanna be famous. I wanna live close to the sun. Oh, pack your bags, cause I've already won. Everything to prove, nothing in my way. I'll get there one day. Cause I wanna be famous. Na 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 na. I wanna be famous. I wanna be famous.
Welcome to the animation block. I'm your host, Ryder Mitchell. Unfortunately, Knox could not be here tonight. Some family stuff going on with him, but luckily, here I am. It's a lot of fun stuff we're talking about today. Knox will be here next week. It's going to be a lot of fun, but right now, here today, let's kind of get a rundown of what we're talking about. So, first of all, the theme, I think, of this week's episode will end up being Scooby-Doo. Now, yeah, I know a lot of you are like, what, why is Scooby-Doo? Well, I'm gonna kind of get into that, but really, they're making a new show about Scooby-Doo, which that's gonna be one of the main topics we talk about. It's called Be Cool Scooby-Doo, and this show looks pretty interesting in a positive way and in a negative way. So we're gonna take a look at that and sort of compare that to another main topic of this week, and that will be Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated. Now, I know that show came out back in 2010, it ended in 2013. We're kind of going to be comparing that to Be Cool Scooby-Doo and see, how it's going to work out, this new one. And then ending it off is something I am beyond excited about, and that is Total Drama, the Ridonculous Race. Now, guys, I don't know. I have such a long spiel to say about Total Drama and then the Ridonculous Race. But for me, I'm gonna state this question now, and I'm gonna state it 5 more times at the end of this video. And that is, when the hell is this coming out? Because I've tried to search news on YouTube, I tried to search news on Google, on all these different websites. I even went to Cake Entertainment. Yeah, Cake. Most people don't even know about Cake Entertainment, but it's the production company behind Total Drama. And I'm like, I gotta check out this website, I gotta see what's going on. Nothing. All I know is that right now it's on in Canada or something like that. I am going crazy. But we'll have enough time to talk about that. So as of right now, let's get started with Be Cool Scooby-Doo. So, yeah, it's been 2 years since we've seen an animated Scooby-Doo series, and that's kind of big. Now, granted, we have been seeing, I'd say 1 to 2 animated Scooby-Doo films, not really films, but it's just a really long episode, basically, of Scooby-Doo. So it's like an hour and a half, hour and 45 minute episode of Scooby-Doo, and they basically call that a TV movie. They usually go right to DVD, and sometimes Cartoon Network will play them, either on Saturday mornings or I don't know, whatever their schedule is, but they will sometimes get played on Cartoon Network. Otherwise, you can usually pick them up at Walmart, Target, Toys R Us, basically any store that sells DVDs. So, or libraries, whatever. So, yeah, it's not like we've been not getting any Scooby-Doo stuff, but really what's made the show since the beginning is the TV show, TV show part of it. And it started back in the 1960s with the original Scooby-Doo series, and it went through a metamorphosis change of, evolution throughout 45 years. And I'm going to be honest, some people may not agree with this, but I'm just going to say my opinion. I feel like Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated was the best Scooby-Doo show that they've had. Now, the original was a lot of fun, and I liked What's New Scooby-Doo. I didn't really care for a pup named Scooby-Doo. Didn't really care for that one. Shaggy and Scooby Get a Clue. Didn't really care for that one. But I liked the original. I liked What's New Scooby-Doo, and I liked Mystery Incorporated. Those are the three that are usually, when people think of Scooby-Doo, those are the three shows they think of, because you have the original audience. Now the people who are adults, and they're 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds who watched this show when they were children. Now they can look back and be like, yeah, I remember that. They watched the original. Then you have people like me who grew up watching What's New Scooby-Doo, that was back from, the 2000s. So that's where I grew up with. And then as I got a little bit older, then in 2010, they aired Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated. Then, sadly, after a two-season run, after being canceled after a very short period of time, which I'll talk about why I personally feel like it got canceled, but it got canceled after 2 seasons in 2013, we have had a blank period of no Scooby-Doo TV shows. Then, it might have been, I think it was Cartoon Network's upfronts, which not a lot of people are too aware of, but basically they announced and they released this 10-second clip. It was probably a 6-second clip just showing the animation of these characters, and then they revealed the title, Be Cool Scooby-Doo. Now, it's come to my attention that it will not be premiering on Cartoon Network or something like that, but it will be premiering on Boomerang, which Boomerang is sort of like a secondary channel to Cartoon Network. But I don't know, it's a pile of confusion, because now I'm reading that Boomerang is part of Cartoon Network, so it's like Boomerang isn't even a channel itself, but it is a channel. You guys are kind of getting it. I'm kind of confused in that sense, but you can basically expect it to be some sort of announcement on Cartoon Network, and if not Cartoon Network, online or on some sort of online platform for when this show will come out. It has a release date set so far for fall of 2015, and yeah, we're sort of entering that, sadly, fall stage as summer comes to an end. So, be expecting a lot from there. Now, let's talk about this animation. So, my first off opinions after seeing this was well, is it going to be as good as Mystery Incorporated? Because that's sort of what I'm looking for. I want more Mystery Incorporated. If they would come in, Warner Brothers, and they'd be like, hey guys, we're going to just come in and we're going to be like Season 3, Season 4, Season 5, I'd go crazy. That's not happening. And I'll talk about why that will never happen. Unless Scooby-Doo is in, major trouble and they're thinking of ending the whole franchise as a whole. But that doesn't seem like it's happening, because now Warner Brothers released another animated picture film for 2018. It's like I'm saying, it's a lot that is coming up, but nothing right now. So this animation, to me, I kind of feel a little disappointed, because if you kind of look back throughout the 45 year plus, different versions of these characters that are actually pretty cool. A lot of people just think, oh, it's just the classic 60s, it's the generic, ascots. I mean, I think overall these characters are pretty cool, and after seeing, 45 years plus of what, different creators and animators can do with them, I'm very pleased with these characters. But the way I just felt a little disappointed, and because I just feel like this is flat out goofy. It is goofy, it is not what I expect out of a Scooby-Doo series. When I saw this, the first thing that popped into my head was, damn it, another Teen Titans Go. Now, don't get me wrong. I do somewhat enjoy Teen Titans Go. I think it is somewhat of an interesting, it's a fun take on it. At the same time, it is a lot of the Teen Titans Go episodes are stupid, and they don't have much of a point, which is, kids don't really need much of a point, but to be entertained. But my point is, because it's a Teen Titans TV show focused and based around characters I absolutely love, I would like to see a bit less of a goofier, stupid approach on them, and have more of a storyline, more character development. But that's sort of just me. But at the same time, like I'm saying, I do enjoy Teen Titans Go, but not as much as I'd like to. Now, what am I expecting just by looking at this animation? I'm thinking they are going to turn Scooby-Doo into this show like Teen Titans Go, where you take characters that I love, characters that I think have a lot to them, and you basically throw them into these completely messed up episodes where there's basically no point, or they got to take down this big monster that's made out of food, or it's like, at the same time they're trying to teach friendship. But if you've seen episodes of Teen Titans Go or something like that, now you'll kind of get what I mean. Like, the episodes are entertaining, but you don't really feel like you're watching a Teen Titans show. You feel like you're watching a cartoon show, but instead of the main characters being, cartoons, they're actually superheroes. So it's like, is that how Scooby-Doo's gonna feel? Because then, if it's gonna be like that, I'm sorry, there's been too much heritage and previous backstory for them to come in and be like, we are going to completely change the way this story and these characters were in the past. We got to appeal to this new, younger audience. Honestly, if it's like that, I got to be honest, I don't think this show will stay in for more than one season. And then they'll wait a year, or maybe 2 years, and they'll come in with a maybe back to scratch kind of, alright, fine, this goofier approach didn't work. Let's try back to maybe What's New Scooby-Doo, because that really clicked well with audience. We got a lot of seasons, we got a lot of spin-off TV movies of it. It worked out really well. At the same time, I'm very excited for this show, and that is because we haven't had a Scooby-Doo show in such a long time. Not such a long time. Also, I'm curious as to if there is a really great story with this, if the characters are fun, if Scooby-Doo himself is fun, if they develop each character and they have an overall big plot, like Mystery Incorporated, the animation will become something that I don't care as much about, because I am seeing characters, once again, that I love on screen, plus we're getting an amazing plot. So I don't care how they exactly appear on screen, I just care that they are there on screen and they've got a great story to back them up. I'm beyond excited, although I am nervous for it. So right now I'm hoping that the show does well, but if it doesn't, I wouldn't be surprised. Now let's move into what I wanted to talk about with Mystery Incorporated and somewhat comparing that to this new Be Cool Scooby-Doo show. So let's sort of talk about what I loved about this. Now the first one. And this is something that I said about Be Cool Scooby-Doo, how I didn't love it. But what I loved about Mystery Incorporated was the animation. That might be some of my favorite animation that I've seen from an animated TV show. Now you're thinking, what are you even saying, Ryder? It's just plain old animation. Well, if you really watch an episode of it, you can see that the animation fits perfectly with the mood and tone of the show. The show was darker. It was a little scarier. It had you watched it and you'd be thinking this is a kid show, but you could watch certain episodes and get the chills. And I love that. That's what I want from a show like that, because it's a mystery show. It isn't a show where you see four young adults, older teenagers and a talking dog go fight talking burritos. Jesus. Teen Titans Go needs to just kind of get like a washcloth and sort of wash some of that goofiness away. But at the same time, I don't want to get back into Be Cool Scooby-Doo. But my point is, what I loved about Mystery Incorporated was the animation worked, the background images worked, the characters worked with the story. And it's just very, very well done. So I always really enjoyed that. Number two, I liked the character development, especially with characters like Fred. You walk into a Scooby-Doo show like that, you're watching the first episode, you're thinking, okay, I'm excited for this. I liked the 60s original show. I liked What's New Scooby-Doo. I'm just expecting this to be another Scooby-Doo show. I'm a fan of them, they're fun, let's watch it. But as you watch towards the end of season 1, and into season 2 and finish season 2, you realize that you're not just watching another Scooby-Doo show where every episode is just another mystery. You're actually watching something where between these 2 seasons, you dive way, way deep inside of these characters, and you get to dissect them. You get to dissect what they're thinking, what they're feeling, how they act, who they really are, and if these characters that we've loved since the 60s or whatever, are they the same, or do we? How much more are we going to learn from that? Loved that. So, and then of course, finally, the story. How there was this bigger overall mystery with this Mr. E figure, and throughout, each single individual mystery that they would solve actually had a much deeper, connection to the overall mystery, which took a little over to the first season. I mean, even into season 2 to solve. So, I mean, if you haven't seen this Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated, and you are somewhat of a fan of Scooby-Doo, whether you are you're an older fan or you're a much younger fan, you must check this out, because I promise you will not be disappointed. Now, here's why I think it got canceled. It was too dark. And what do you think I mean by that? Well, if you haven't seen this show, then you're thinking, well, how can a Scooby-Doo show be too dark? Well, let me tell you how. By, increasing the level of how, you think that this show almost felt like it was geared towards more of tweens into teenagers, not as much younger children. Because if you had a 4-year-old watching this show, they might, in certain episodes where you got the crocodile people, or whatever they call the alligator people, or when you had the screeching vampires. Now, it doesn't exactly affect me, but because of how the animation looks, and how the story looks, the music, how it just feels creepy, you might have a kid start to be afraid of that. So that might have been a big no-no. Cartoon Network might have been like, we're not getting as many child viewers as we'd like. We might have to rework this. And I think that's overall what happened. The series felt almost too dark. It was either that or the fact that the showrunners and producers and writers didn't have any more story to tell, which I feel like is complete BS. So, I'm just thinking it's not exactly the network's fault. But, I am a little upset that they did cancel it. But overall, it was really great. So I'm hoping that even if this... the creators and showrunners for this Be Cool Scooby-Doo have said that there will be some sort of story arc. But they will be taking a bit more of a comedic approach. And that's how the animation mimics the comedic approach. Which is cool. Because, it definitely says and states, hey, we care. So they're trying at least, but I'm hoping that in some capacity or to another, they won't go too deep down into the goofiness and have these characters be, bouncing off the walls saying, hey, let's go fight that talking burrito, and actually have them interact with one another, dive deep into their, themselves as characters, and have an overall cool mystery. But I'm really looking forward to this. Like I said, I'm excited and nervous at the same time. Fall 2015, here we come. Can't wait. And I will definitely at least be doing some sort of review for the first episode of it. I can't say as to how much I will actually be doing for the rest of the season. But I will at least be telling you guys how the first episode is and whether you should watch it or not. Because, believe me, from one cartoon fan to another, I don't want you guys to waste your time on something that's completely stupid and pointless, especially with characters that we love. And now, finally, what I've been waiting to talk about for the last week, because we plan these episodes a week in advance. Total Drama, the Ridonculous Race. Guys, go a little crazy if you're a Total Drama fan, because it's not over. And most people actually kind of know that. Now, let's sort of go through Total Drama just from the beginning. Now, we start in 2007. The Cartoon Network has the pilot. They throw it on their network, saying, let's see how this does. Boom, blows up. Show is a hit. I will talk about why it was a hit and why it still is a hit. I think this is probably one of Cartoon Network's more modern landmarks, and I think that's why the network is not officially giving up yet on the franchise. Let's kind of go through each season. 2007. Well, each season didn't exactly go through like a full year basis, but we had Total Drama Island, we had Total Drama Action, we had Total Drama World Tour, we had Total Drama Revenge of the Island, Total Drama All Stars. Then in 2013, the show kind of stopped, and that was right after All Stars. Then we got a revival, and that was Total Drama Pakatu Island. Completely new cast, completely new island from the original island that was used in Total Drama All-Stars, Total Drama Island, and Total Drama Revenge of the Island, and that new island was called Pakatu Island. Kind of after All-Stars, although Total Drama did exist, it was on Cartoon Network, it was sort of like people just weren't talking about it as much. And that was Season 6, and that was somewhat in 2014. But I think slowly the show kind of died down and they stopped airing the whole full, episodes. I do believe that you can watch all of Pakatu Island either on YouTube or CartoonNetwork.com, or you can find it in certain websites. Netflix probably has it, but after that the show just started to lose interest, and that was because Cartoon Network was sort of running the books with Amazing World of Gumball. They had the Uncle Grandpa show, Teen Titans Go, regular show. They were sort of running the books with this new kind of animation tone, which I was not a fan of. I'm sorry for people who are. It's just, I said this last week, it doesn't give me the same rush that I get sometimes, or when I used to get sometimes, watching cartoon shows, which is crazy, I know, but it happened, once upon a time. So, I was extremely disappointed when they kind of stopped with Total Drama. Then, boom! 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 What do we get? Some kind of announcement back, I believe it was late 2014, and it was that there was Total Drama, itself, it was somewhat done, but at the same time wasn't done. And that was that they would be doing somewhat of a Total Drama relation show, which is now called Total Drama Presents The Ridonculous Race, or Total Drama The Ridonculous Race, whatever you want to call it. But basically, Chris, he is not the host anymore, which, as for Chris, it did bring a tear to my eye, because Chris was probably one of my favorite cartoon characters ever, Chris McLean, and Chef and him were a great duo, so that was really rough for me, and as well for Chris, as we saw in some of those promo pics. And we got a new host. His name was Don. A lot of people think it's Topher, and it might be Topher, but Topher was introduced in Pakatu Island, but I do believe this guy's name, this new host, his name is Don, okay? So there is definitely something there. Chris is still supposedly a character, because apparently towards the end of the series, there's a battle between Chris and Don for the host or something like that, or I don't know, but it definitely screams Total Drama if you're a fan of that show. So, and if you've seen the season as a whole, or all the seasons altogether. So, now let's sort of get into what this show actually is, because you're thinking, well, is it another Total Drama season? So it's not a new Total Drama season where it's not like the first 6 seasons. It's a kind of, I don't know if you could call it a step up or you could call it a step down. I'm kind of calling it a complete step forward, really, and meaning that it's going in the straight line that it was. And this is sort of different because there's going to be 18 different teams of 2. And it's going to be based on the hit show. It's going to be sort of like not a spoof, but it's going to be somewhat like their Total Drama's version of The Amazing Race, which is obviously a really fun show overall, The Amazing Race. And Total Drama was going to take a crack at it with their Ridonculous Race. And no, it's not the Ridiculous Race, Believe me, I don't say Ridonculous. I know how to talk. I don't say Ridonculous, but after calling it the Ridiculous Race for some time, I did learn that I was wrong, and it is indeed called the Ridonculous Race. So, we are getting primarily new characters, but there are pairs of original characters. Now, fans of Owen will be very pleased to know that he is back with Noah from Season 1. So, and, Season 2 and Season 3, so that's pretty fun. Along with a lot of other returning characters, a few people from Pakatu Island. We get a couple more from the original season, but overall, it's primarily new characters. And I think it's because they want a new crack at this. But I seriously think that if the total drama of the Ridonculous Race is a hit, that they will go ahead and do more seasons based on this Ridonculous Race storyline, and either call it, the space race or the aquatic race, or you know how they'll change it. So I mean, after hearing this news and seeing the promo pics and everything, and having the episodes, they were put on YouTube, then Cake Entertainment took them down. So yeah, I mean, I was extremely excited, but you know how it is we are not seeing this in America yet. Apparently, this is one of two things. Number one, well, right now it's on in Canada, okay? But this is one of two things. Either Canada might only be able to get this. This show might be Canada only, and the U.S. might not end up getting it. That's number one. Or number two, they're airing it on Canada first to see how it might work and how if people are enjoying it in Canada, and then they will eventually air it in the United States. Now, I don't know what channel it's going to be on. I don't know if it would be on Cartoon Network. I'm assuming it would. It could be an online exclusive. Who knows? But this is big for me. A very big deal for me. And the fact that so far there has been very little news on this, except people who are putting their predictions out. Now, how are people putting their predictions out? Because basically, here's how I'm looking at it. If people are able to put their predictions out, is this show on in the U.S.? And if it is, please let me know. Please. Because I've been trying to figure this out for the last month or whatever. I just, no news at all. So, basically what we're going with is that either this show is not coming to the U.S. or it will come to the U.S. Now, if you look on Wikipedia, if you look on, official websites or whatever, it says that this show is supposedly going to air in 2015. Well, guess what? We only have 4 more months in 2015. Now, fall is definitely a time where big networks, they release and drop their schedule, or they release new shows. I know that, Nickelodeon's doing that, Disney's doing that, CW's doing that, NBC's doing that, all big network, ABC, so, it would definitely make sense if Cartoon Network's like, alright, I think we're ready to drop the Ridonculous Race, we'll give a premiere date. If it doesn't come out in the U.S. and I'm not able to view it somehow, I will be somewhat upset, but, yeah, if anybody knows anything else about this show, please contact me. Please. I will do, not anything, but I will do most things that I can do from my computer for you guys, if I am able to if you're able to provide me with knowledge that I'm not aware of yet. But honestly, this show seems like it's going to be a lot of fun. And if Cartoon Network is able to do that, and then if they're able to have this Be Cool Scooby-Doo this show, and they're supposedly doing a bunch of revivals. We're getting the Powerpuff Girls 2016 show, which is officially happening, which I don't know if it's going to be next week or the week after, where we're going to do a Powerpuff Girls one, an episode about this, so we have to see how that goes. But really, if Cartoon Network's able to revive Total Drama in some sense, and if they're able to revive Scooby-Doo in some sense, then I'm going to maybe move Cartoon Network up on my, channel priorities. Because as of right now, I am somewhat kind of ish excited for the channel. If Scooby-Doo's a hit, this Be Cool Scooby-Doo, and if we can get the Ridonculous Race on there, it might move up from, okay, I'm kind of ish, maybe ish excited for this channel to, like, yeah, I'm really pumped to see this week's new episode. So let me know in the comments what you guys think about Be Cool Scooby-Doo, how you think it's going to compare to Mystery Incorporated, and what are you thinking about the Ridonculous Race? And if you know anything more than I do, please, 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 please contact me. It is very urgent. I need to know. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and make sure you click share, you like this video, if you liked it, of course, and you subscribe to our channel. Spy Central, hopefully, we may end up getting an episode up this coming week. We'll have to see, maybe, maybe not. All depends on the filming schedule of Bryce Sharkman and Becca Zook, so we'll have to see how that goes. But, you know, if not, then from now on we're going to start to try to build up these new talk shows, not talk shows, but weekly shows. You know, we got the major movie news feeds, so those are kind of going to be whenever we feel like doing those. Then you got That's a Joke, which we may or may not keep doing, so we'll have to see how that goes. But animation blocks, they are definitely happening every Saturday, so if you're a fan of this, and you know, make sure you like this video, let us know in the comments, and stay tuned for next week. So, yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Ryder, and this has been the Animation Block.